Hey guys, it's Windy from Windys.Art. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to paint an acorn in watercolor. Let's get straight into it. As always, I start with the contour drawing. I used my reference photo and drew out the actual shape of the acorn and the darker patterns on the cap. After I'm done with that, I outline my sketch with light watercolor, then erase the pencil sketches afterwards. So I know there's no pencil sketches left in my finished painting. Feel free to skip this step if you sketch directly with watercolor. Then I apply the first layer. I start painting a light wash on the cap. I suggest keeping the first wash lighter so we can work on layers and details afterwards. After that, I move to the nut of the acorn. As the same with the cap, I applied a light wash first, then I wipe out the colors on the reflection areas while the paper is still wet. As you can see, the areas I wipe out become brighter. Make sure your paintbrush is dry without paint on when you do the wipeout techniques. I also paint darker shades on the certain area while the paper is still wet so the color blends nicely. Lastly, I use the dry brush techniques to apply the first layer on the stem. The dry brush technique is great for creating wooden textures. Next, I paint out all the darker patterns on the cap. Once I finish all the patterns, I add the darkest shadows on the lower edge of certain patterns as you can see. Make sure to strengthen the shadow in between the junction of the cap and the nut, so it looks natural and connected. Then I add the second layer on the stem. When painting the darker shades, I leave blanks for the reflection areas. After that, I add a medium tone color on the cap. Because I painted the darker patterns before, now I can see the whole contour clearly, so it's easier to apply the colors. Make sure you leave blanks in between each patterns while painting the medium tone color. Then I apply another layer which is slightly darker than the medium tone color. Once I'm done with that, I can see there are some areas needing to be strengthened. So I add the darkest shadows on certain places, like around the bottom areas of the cap. I suggest working on layers like this so it creates a 3D look. After I'm done with that, I add the second layer on the nut. Make sure to avoid reflection areas where we wipe out before while applying the second layer. Continue adding a third layer while the paper is still wet. I add the darkest patterns on the nut. Here I change to my small pen brush. It's great for painting details. I also apply an even darker layer around the bottom area and the junction between the cap and the nut. Then I paint the nub at the bottom. While waiting for the nub to dry, I go back to strengthen the stem with dark brown color. After I'm done with that, I add a second layer on the nub. After that, I can see the cap needs to be strengthened again, so I go back and add another darker shades on some areas, so the whole painting looks more balanced. I also highlight some area with yellow and white watercolor pencil. I like to highlight my painting with watercolor pencil because it does brighten it up, but not too bright like with a white gel pen. Finally, the touch-up. It's all about the balance of whole painting, so I like to go back to see if there are any areas needing to be strengthened again before finish the painting. So the painting is about to finish here. Comment below and let me know what you think. That's all for today's video. I really hope it's helpful and if you enjoyed it. If you do, please like and share with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so you never miss out on my weekly art videos and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye!